Yo, hey guys, how are you doing? I found my Pikachu hat. I am so excited for this movie. The trailer was boss. Now, I was so excited. I was so excited. Like, cause at first I thought it was a joke because Ryan Reynolds posted it on Twitter and he's done like some random stuff in the past, and I was like, this can't be real. You know, I've seen a couple of seconds, but then snuck off in work, click on the Twitter, watched the video, and I was like, whoa! This looks really good. I feel like this is going to work, and I feel like this is going to finally be like a really good adaptation. And Mother's Basement's put a video out, Detective Pikachu, the first great video game movie. I feel like he is correct. I mean, other than Mortal Kombat, come on, that's boss. But anyway, let's get into this. It looks so cute. Oh, I love my Pikachu hat. I lost it, and now I find it. Anyway, Detective Pikachu will be the first great video game movie. Oh, awesome. Mr. Man! Oh!
In my head, I saw that differently. You and me both, right,
yeah.
Reynolds? When I heard that Warner Brothers was doing this Detective Pikachu movie, I set my expectations
I wasn't very, like,
go. And then I lowered them a bit more when I heard that Danny DeVito wouldn't be.
Yeah, I really wanted him to do Pikachu's voice.
And yet, when the trailer for the movie dropped yesterday, I found myself feeling more genuine joy and excitement than I've felt for any upcoming anime or game adaptation. I want to say ever.
So cute.
As someone who really loves Pokemon and loves video games and anime in general, I have a long list of things that I want to see when my favorite franchises get brought to the big screen, which so far has not been filled by anything. But this trailer is ticking a lot of boxes. It's no secret that games have had a bit of a rough time of it in making the jump to film. Aside from the schlocky cult classic Mortal Kombat, the only video game films to score above 50% on either Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic are Prince of Persia, Rampage, and Tomb Raider 2018. Three movies that have never once been viewed by any human being outside of an airplane. But now, having watched and rewatched this trailer, and then rewatched it again a few times for good measure, I'm ready to make a bold prediction. Pokemon Detective Pikachu isn't just going to be good. I think it's going to be Hollywood's first properly great live-action video game adaptation.
Yeah, quite possibly.
And also the best Pokemon movie, but considering that the high bar is Spell of the Unknown,
although the first Pokemon movie was good.
Now, obviously, any trailer should be taken with a massive pile of salt.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because a great editor can make even a total turd look like a brilliant work of art given enough time. I mean, this is a Warner Brothers production, and they managed to make Suicide Squad look awful.
That is true. I was very up for Suicide Squad, and that it was
seen of Detective Pikachu are the only good minutes of the entire film. But there are many good reasons to believe that's not the case. Firstly, the dialogue in the trailer, what little there is bursting with wit and charm. The lines that we do hear seem to be mostly unchanged from the final film, too. There's no obvious points where they don't flow together. And on top of that, a lot of genuine enthusiasm comes through in the performances of both Ryan Reynolds and Justice Smith. Chopped-up lines and phoned-in delivery are the surest sign that a trailer is hiding something, and I'm seeing none of that here. And this was written by Nicole Perlman, who also wrote Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, cool!
So, yeah, based on that fact, coupled with what we've seen so far, I would be genuinely shocked if the screenplay, at least, was anything less than fantastic, or if the performances fell anywhere short of on point. I've also got a lot of hope for the film's director, Rob Letterman, who previously made Shark Tale, but he followed that up with Monsters vs. Aliens and Goosebumps, two incredibly fun, underrated action comedies that pay loving homage to the works they're based on. Sci-fi B-movies, and obviously the works of R.L. Stine. And two films that make creative use of the tools of their respective genres. Something that also seems to apply here. Detective Pikachu's color grading, lighting, camera work, and set design are all clearly meant to evoke the look of neo-noir films, which is a good fit for a detective story as well as a great visual style for a CGI
different. I was not expecting this with Pokemon.
As it's easier to make harsh neon lighting look real and natural than it would be with softer, more organic light sources. It's clear there's a lot of planning and vision behind the look of this film, and that kind of careful craftsmanship is always a good sign. What's more, that craftsmanship extends to the Pokemon themselves, who've been carefully designed to look like real, living,
very realistic
creatures while remaining as accurate as possible to their appearance in the anime and games. The furry, glassy-eyed Jigglypuff, Psyduck, and Pikachu undeniably look a little creepy, and in Jigglypuff's case, I'd argue that that's clearly intentional. original, but they also look like they're physically there while still being instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
Almost like living stuffed animals. In a world of Bayformers, teenage Michael Bajet turtles, Bill Murray Garfield, and those goddamn chipmunk abominations, and coming from a studio that previously gave us the Yogi Bear movie, that says a lot. I don't envy any special effects team tasked with making Pokemon real, but these guys did a better job than I think anyone could.
You want us to do what?
Certainly miles better than the plastic-looking CGI in the game's reveal trailer.
Yeah.
Apparently, they tapped R.J. Palmer, the artist behind these incredible realistic Pokemon, to help with their character designs, and I think it's safe to say that that choice paid off. Even if you're not a fan of these designs, though, just keep in mind that the upcoming Monster Hunter movie set looks like this. Now that is the look of a film that doesn't give one atom of a shit about its source material. A phrase that also easily describes, well, pretty much every video game movie ever.
Yeah.
By contrast, from everything I've seen, it
looks like they really
Warner Brothers
care.
is treating Detective Pikachu as far more than a simple licensed cash grab. They're hiring people with genuine passion for Pokemon to bring the world of the games and anime to life, and they put the project in the hands of some genuinely talented filmmakers. But the same could have been said for Warcraft prior to its release, and that movie turned out, not good.
I've not seen it.
What's the difference that makes me so confident in Detective Pikachu? Well, okay, I'm going to avoid talking about the writing quality of Warcraft overall, because that's only going to make Warcraft fans mad. But there are three other bigger things that stand out to me about Detective Pikachu that make it seem more promising than, well, basically any of the video game films Hollywood has shat out over the last few decades. To start, and this is going to seem a bit shallow, but hear me out, Detective Pikachu is based on a point-and-click adventure game, a genre born from game designers' attempts to ape cinema. Graphic adventures tell mostly linear, dialogue-driven stories, and they're not overladen with action beats that are only interesting when you can actually play them. In other words, these games are near-perfect source material for movies, and Detective Pikachu is somehow the first Hollywood movie ever made based on one. Why nobody ever tried to make a Maniac Mansion, Broken Sword, or Monkey Island movie is beyond me, but
Monkey Island is good.
So here we are. In Japan, they have made a few movies based on adventure games, Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva, and Takashi Miike's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Oh, cool. I didn't know they did live action.
Both of those have been named by critics other than myself as some of the best video game movies ever made.
Cool.
It baffles me that Hollywood has never taken a crack at the genre before, but I'm glad they finally are, because the similarity in narrative structure means that they have to do much less work to fit the story of the game into a film. And I think that handicap alone will immediately raise Detective Pikachu's odds of success. Thankfully, Detective Pikachu doesn't seem to be Hollywoodizing the world we know and love from the games and anime, or invalidating their canon. The film is effectively a side story to Pokemon set in the same universe, which is close to the number one thing that video game and anime fans ask for whenever there's an adaptation of something
please
they love.
keep it within the world.
It is based on an existing game, but that game is a spin-off in a somewhat niche genre, so I think for most Pokemon fans, this story will at least be new to them. This means that, regardless of its canonicity, the film doesn't have to worry too much about clashing with the Pokemon universe stories that fans already know. It has room to tell its own tale while still comfortably fitting alongside the adventures that we've all had with our own Pokemon and the adventures that we've seen Ash and Co. have with theirs. And that might not seem like that big a deal. I mean, books and comics get adapted straight to film without a hassle all the time, but stories told through video games, animation, and other mediums that use motion and sound leave a clearer, more definitive impression in their audience's minds of what they should be than what they imagine while reading. And it's much harder to deviate from the expectations those works create without upsetting some of those people.
Oh yeah.
Video game and anime films that bend over backwards to please fans often end up making poor use of their new medium, while those that don't risk extreme backlash and derision, even if they have their own strong qualities. It's a no-win scenario that's not really conducive to making the best film possible, and I'm glad to see Detective Pikachu sidestep it. Also, it handily allows the film to sidestep any accusations of whitewashing, since Rhyme City is located in the Pokeverse's equivalent of America, and the protagonist's name, even in Japanese, is Tim Goodman. Despite that built-in excuse, Detective Pikachu has an incredibly diverse cast anyway, which says nothing about the actual quality of the film, but is really cool to see nonetheless. I really like that they've put their most bankable star into an animated role, and been more flexible with
Ryan
the rest
Reynolds
of their
is a big
casting.
name.
Nothing says we're not actually confident in this property than front-loading all of your marketing materials with a bunch of A-list actors. Pikachu is much more marketable than even my homeboy Van City Reynolds, and Warner Brothers knows it. And that's one reason that Alita Battle Angel also looks promising. Just
I can't wait.
Of course, the story of Detective Pikachu isn't making it from the small screen to the big one without some changes. No 12-hour game could make that jump unscathed. But they're changing the story in some smart ways that I think add legitimate narrative value to the film, even for the biggest of Pokemon fans.
Right.
Letting us see a side of the Pokemon world that we've never really had a chance to look at before. It seems like every kid in the Pokemon universe dreams of going off on their own Pokemon adventure when they come of age, but, I mean, only so many people can become professional Pokemon trainers and breeders.
Yeah, he's not
some people
interested,
have to
is he?
do the regular jobs.
Yeah.
So what happens to the kids who don't become the Pokemon champion? Or even get a good
It's an interesting look, isn't it? Yeah.
While he was mainly a bright-eyed kid looking for his missing dad in the game, Tim Goodman is a troubled young man in the movie. From what the trailer tells us, he wanted to be a Pokemon trainer, but couldn't make it for whatever reason, and ended up being what looks like a telemarketer. Whatever field he's in, though, it's one where he can say, "I know how to use this," while brandishing a stapler, and that is hilariously depressing. Now, I haven't seen every episode of the Pokemon anime or played all of the spin-offs, but to my knowledge, Tim's way of life is one that Pokemon has never really explored in depth, at least not from the perspective of the protagonist.
Right, yeah.
I'm really interested to see what kind of hero a Pokemon telemarketer or office guy or whatever he is will grow into. That doesn't mean that his character arc or the story of the film will be great in their entirety, but I can't think of many Pokemon
I think it'll be a good
stories that
story.
have started out in a way that's left me feeling genuinely intrigued to see where they're gonna go.
Yeah, because you usually know what it is,
Promising,
isn't it?
to
It's
say
like,
the least. And I think it has
I wanna
the
be the very best,
potential
but no one
to
ever was.
resonate with a lot of real-world adults who've grown up and left their own Pokemon dreams behind. But even if you don't particularly care for that narrative hook, there are some really cool ideas on display here that I think will get any Pokemon fan excited. We make jokes about Pokemon battles basically being dogfights all the time, but it looks like for once we're actually going to get to see, at least one really brutal underground cage fight featuring a dangerous and badass-looking Charizard.
Yep.
That's cool.
That is awesome,
So
yeah.
is the squad of Greninja assassins we see chasing our heroes in
Yeah,
the
like,
trailer.
whoa.
That's something we never see in the games or show, but it totally makes
It
sense
makes
that
sense, yeah.
criminals would use Greninja in that way. It makes sense that a SWAT team would use Machamps, Magnemites, and Growlithe in the Pokemon Generations OVA. I love to see supplemental materials flesh out the Pokemon world like this.
Yeah, cool.
And the casting choices they've made with the Pokemon are great too. Slotting in Jigglypuff as an apparent femme fatale character is a great comedic setup.
Funny.
And it looks like the interrogation scene is going to really capitalize on the creepy pedophile murderer vibes that Mr. Mime has always given off.
Yeah.
Also,
It's
another
weird.
quick aside, it's really neat and a little creepy how Mr. Mime has molding seams on his shoulders like he's actually made of rubber. Also, the gag where Pikachu runs into his invisible
That's funny.
wall is golden.
Brilliant.
We're seeing a darker side of the Pokemon universe here, but the wholesome elements and sense of wonder that make the series so charming are apparently still there too. That one shot of the Bulbasaurs wading through the stream
Oh my
put
God.
an instant smile on my
Yeah.
face. And the upheaval of the mountainside toward the end of the trailer makes me think that we might see a legendary at play here. Which, if it's handled correctly, could be worth the price of admission for Pokemon diehards all on its own. Can you imagine seeing something like Groudon wreaking havoc in live action on the big screen with surround sound? I'm trying to keep my cool here, but as I write this, the 10-year-old child inside me is vibrating with excitement at that possibility.
I want like an
And when you
Articuno
boil
or
it down,
Moltres
I think
or
that's
a
where most
Zapdos.
of my enthusiasm for this trailer comes from. It seems to me like the goal of this film is to deliver the wonder and charm that made me love Pokemon as a kid while telling a story that's mature enough for me to appreciate as an adult. And that is exactly what a big-budget Pokemon movie should be aiming to do in 2018. From a business standpoint, it just makes sense to try to please nostalgic millennials who grew up with the anime and games and play Pokemon Go in their spare time. But Pokemon is still huge with kids, so
Yeah.
it makes sense to try to make
So
them
many
happy too.
different
And it just so
age
happens
ranges
that
are gonna
in
go
the
see
midpoint
this.
between what those two audiences want and can appreciate, there's a lot of potential to tell really great stories. If Hollywood asked me, Detective Pikachu is the last video game film I ever would have asked for, but right now, I'm really glad that they gave it
Can't
to
wait
us
for it.
anyway. And I hope that I've made my case as to why this trailer works and why the film looks so darn promising to me. Maybe I'll be dead wrong about
It's
this.
so
It wouldn't
cute.
be
I
the
want
first
one.
time, but I really hope I'm not. Let me know in the comments below which Pokemon from the trailer featured most prominently in your nightmares last night. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos every Tuesday and Saturday. Now, normally there'd be a link here to my Pokemon Sun and Moon video, but ShowPro took that down, so instead enjoy this nostalgic look at dubbed anime openings. I'm Jeff Thu, professional shitbag, signing out from my mother's basement.
Yeah, that... Willy Balance. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this Detective Pikachu movie. I think it's going to be boss. I'm going to say Pikachu Wibby. Hope I don't have to pay a ticket for you. Yeah, looks cool. I am really looking forward to it. It looks boss. Ryan Reynolds is a really good choice for the voice. Works well. Just how Ryan Reynolds is going to bring people in. Like, fans of Ryan Reynolds are going to watch it. Going to come and see that. So it's going to be funny. You're going to have kids that like Pokemon going. You're going to have fans of the old anime and the games going. It's going to be huge. It's going to make a lot of money. And I think it's going to be great. Mother's Basement did a very good job there explaining why the trailer works and why the film's going to be awesome. I'm really nervous that Pikachu is going to fall off the hat. I think I'm doing a really good job keeping that balance right now. So, yeah. Thank you guys very much. Oh, I felt it move. Thank you guys very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. It's all you guys. Next time. Bye. Say bye, Pikachu. 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 I don't know. Cheers, guys. Bye.